volcano. As you can see, spurting out tons of mud, and this guy's backing up because it keeps shooting farther and farther out. Pretty amazing sight, as you can imagine.
Japan has a problem with loneliness. Almost 70% of unmarried men and 60% of unmarried women aged 18 to 34 are not in any form of relationship. This relationship crisis has spurred a multi-million-dollar virtual romance industry which aims to fill the emotional void through technology.
Wake up to your AI robots. The next generation of relationships.
Seed that we plant in this man's mind will grow into an idea. This idea will define him. It may come to change everything about him.
Movies like Inception, Total Recall, Eternal Sunshine, of course they're possible. If mice had Hollywood, then it's possible in practice right now.
In fact, here at Columbia University, Christine Denny is one of a handful of neuroscientists who can do just that.
It does seem like science fiction, but we are really doing Inception in our lab with turning on and off memories.
It's called optogenetics, a technique so revolutionary it allows us not only to map a specific memory, but manipulate it with lasers. At least in these little guys. These mice might not look so special.
You could not tell my mice apart from a mouse on the street or wherever you go to a pet store and buy a mouse. They don't look any different.
But they are. These are genetically modified mice that allow Denny to record specific memories and turn them on and off at will.
What they basically did is they took a certain gene from algae and they genetically modified this mouse to have this particular gene to where it would react to certain types of light. And they essentially mapped a certain thought, a happy thought he had when he was doing this right here, with this algae gene, to where it had a chemical it put on certain brain cells so that it mapped out that nice thought, that it had that pleasant thought when it was having fun. And then what they do is whenever it's in a bad place, like for instance when it's in an empty cage that looks foreign, like they showed back here, right, when it's in an empty cage like this, the mouse is not exactly happy because it's a foreign environment, looks strange, it's all white. They just triggered this nice thought from the previous memory, and then it was all happy and running around in this white environment as if it was in the environment it would actually like. And this actually shows that they can trigger memories on the fly and manipulate apparently the minds of mice and perhaps the minds of men in the future.
Avalancha de la hostia.
China is aiming to send a lunar probe to boldly go where no probe has gone before. The Chang'e 4 is heading to the far side of the moon. That's the half that always faces away from Earth.
Over the years, I made several videos regarding so-called astronaut Don Pettit, basically the head of mockery when it comes to NASA. I find it very interesting what he says during this interview from a few months back. He basically states the technology to go back to the moon has been destroyed. He'd love to go back in a nanosecond, but that technology does not exist anymore. But then he goes on to talk about going to Mars. Okay, first off, before even showing this video clip with him speaking about, again, this technology, which I find very bizarre, saying it's been destroyed. How was it destroyed? He doesn't go into details how this so-called technology that they used to go to the moon years ago has been destroyed. Let's take a look first off, again, when it comes to mockery in this video clip. Basically, again, mocking his audience, his followers during this presentation. Take a listen to what he says here.
Astronauts are really, really good at making pictures in space that look like you've never left the planet. In fact, it's almost hard-pressed to tell whether you're in space or not in this picture. You know, we've got some fancy backdrops, I guess.
What a strange person this is. What exactly is taking this footage of the supposed moon landing?
Well, obviously this is just CGI here, but I wanted to show you guys some very interesting real footage of the other side of the moon, which I have never seen anybody else show. This is on from a very small channel, actually. I'm going to get into that too in a second here. This guy has some really interesting stuff. He's been analyzing the moon forever, and he's showing some very strange footage from the moon that I wanted to share with you guys here. All right, obviously you can see here there's sort of a glare and shine on the edge of the moon here, as you can tell. Let me just play this here and comment as well.
We see. What does that mean, you ask? Well, my friend, your boy Boogie has not only photos of the moon firmament, but he also has photos of the side and the back of the moon. Oh, you say?
All right, check that out. See that? Isn't that very strange? Isn't that very strange? I've never seen anything like that. That's a very strange image of the alleged back of the moon.
How could this be, you ask? Well, my friend, when you're recording the moon as much as I have, then you're bound to have proofs that others don't. You're also bound to have theories.
He's showing some glare there, as you can tell. It's really strange, too.
And facts that others won't. We're not yesterday's news, my friend, but tomorrow's reality. Now that we've studied the characteristics of how a ball bounces light from its surface, it should be child's play for you to pick out a flat surface from a ball in space. Just remember one thing. On a ball surface, the terminator line leans away from the light source. On a flat surface, with a glass dome over it, the terminator line will lean toward...
Alright, so what he's talking about here is when you see the light on the surface of a ball, it has the line here like this. Alright? But as you can see in the next image, it's not the case with the moon. You can see it's actually like this. This is kind of a strange theory, but this is what he's putting forth. I just thought I would share it with you because we were showing how China claimed to have landed on the back side of the moon, which I find it very interesting that you only see one side of the moon at any given time from Earth. So what really is on the back side of the moon? Of course, that's why they have their China mission allegedly showing you, but they use CGI. So you don't really see, I don't know what I just clicked there. Oh, I clicked on the helpful Wikipedia article from YouTube. That's what I clicked on accidentally. To tell you how you're crazy for even questioning any of this stuff, folks. You should just believe everything they tell you. What is wrong with you? Okay, so that's what they're telling you. That's what they're saying. You should just believe anything and everything we tell you, folks. Never question anything. Don't look behind this little, back section here. There's no games or gimmicks going on, folks. Everything is 100% true that they tell you. And I thought this was a little bit strange how, and I accidentally clicked it again. This shape here, it looks a little strange, for, I guess allegedly that's a mountain range on the moon. I'm playing, this is from 2013. This is from also China landing. Alright, check this out.
Spacecraft on the moon on December 14th, and according to the Administration for Science, Technology and Industry, it has begun scientific operations on the lunar surface.
So they actually show it land in 2013, but the most recent one they don't show land. Alright? And I wanted to show you this, okay? This picture is really interesting. I took some high altitude pictures of the moon, and it looks really strange how the moon is operating there. I mean, look at that. I mean, it almost looks like it's a projecting light from it. And of course you also have, let me just play a little bit of this and you'll get kind of the idea. I thought this was really strange too. This little, I forgot what they call that. Gegen something. I can't remember what that's called. But it shows a dark surface when the moon is present, and when the moon's not present, it shows like a light surface. It's really strange effect. But let me just play this real quick.
We can see more of what's going on. As the moon goes behind the filter, we notice a few remarkable things. First of all, the illumination from the moon on the clouds below vanish because they are being filtered through the filter. The second thing we notice is that the moon becomes much smaller and causes a lens flare effect in the camera. For a lens flare,
so they're using some sort of filter on the camera, and they're showing a lens flare. Now, he goes on to say about the lens flare, we'll play it in a second here, but he's basically going to say that it has to be from a smooth surface. Now, like I mentioned, this other guy's talking about how the moon itself is actually a flat surface with a dome over it, which I don't know if he's right, but it's kind of a strange idea. Okay, but perhaps that's the smooth surface that's causing the lens flare. I know, we're just thinking out loud, but there's so many strange effects with, it's called a Gegenschein, by the way, that dark spot I was talking about. There's so many strange effects from the moon that just make literally no sense if it's a ball, okay? That's the thing it doesn't make sense about. Now, I don't know what the moon is. I'm just curious, and I'm wondering what you guys think. The fact of the matter is there's so many weird things about it. So I just thought I would kind of comment on it here.
Effect to be caused by a secondary bounce light, such as the sun bouncing off a window. The surface of that object reflecting the light back from the sun would have to be extremely smooth or mirror-like. We know the moon, we are told, is just a rock hovering above us in space, and rocks...
Oh yeah, obviously rocks would not be smooth surfaces. Okay, so the question is the moon its own light source? Which I kind of think it is. I think also maybe it's reflecting light from the sun. Both? Perhaps both? I don't know. It's just really strange. I never could fully grasp what is going on with the moon. But it clearly, I don't believe, about the alleged Apollo first landings that they all told us happened so many years ago. I don't believe they actually ever happened. At least the footage they showed us isn't real. If they have gone there, what they've shown us isn't the real stuff. Okay, so that's just kind of how I look at it. And I always found this to be very interesting because of this coming out literally a day or two ago about China landing on the backside of the moon. I thought I would cover this because I really don't think they did. Okay,